ESPN College Football, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Taste the feeling. Ally, do it right. And Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. The Razorbacks hoping to keep the boot as they face LSU. Alabama, meanwhile, has clinched the SEC West with a win today over Mississippi State, and Auburn just a final moments ago losing to Georgia. So now 5-2 and 7-3 overall, which puts Auburn basically out of the whole playoff picture. These two teams have met for the boot 62 previous times. And Arkansas, as we mentioned, has won the last two meetings against LSU. Ed Orgeron, who started his college career as a strength coach here in Fayetteville, and his wife is from Arkansas. This is his first game on the road as the LSU interim head coach. 3-1 with that loss coming to Alabama last week. And how about Brett Bielema? You see the record and you say, but he's played more games against ranked teams than he has against unranked teams. In fact, all three of his losses this year have come against top 10 foes. LSU won the toss, defers. So the Razorbacks will start on offense. Cameron Gamble kicking it deep. And it's Deion Stewart from the 5-yard line. And he gets flipped at the 28. Dante Jackson makes the special teams tackle. So the SEC's leading passer in terms of touchdowns coming into the week, Austin Allen. He's thrown for 19. He threw for 400 yards against Alabama, 371 against A&M, both Arkansas losses. Of course, his older brother Brandon played here and is now in the NFL with Jacksonville. Allen suffered a knee injury a few weeks back in their loss to Auburn, but played through it. And the coaches say he's as healthy as he's going to get. And a quick throw on first down to the 32-yard line to Drew Morgan, Arkansas's leading receiver, with now 49 catches on the season.
Austin Allen is so tough. You mentioned the knee injury. He hangs in the pocket occasionally, a little bit too long. But he's very accurate with the football. He has tremendous feel for the position. And he relies heavily on a talented receiving corps where they have four guys with a lot of experience and a lot of production.
And Morgan, their leading receiver, fourth in the SEC in catches. He picks up 4 yards. Now play action for Allen on second down, in trouble and sacked. It's Arden Key, one of the top pass rushers in college football. That's 9 sacks now for the 6'6" sophomore.
Arden Key's been a handful for everybody. It's especially difficult when you're a tight end. Jeremy Sprinkle getting beat inside. Austin Allen has absolutely no chance there of getting rid of the football.
Well, we've seen so many great edge guys for the Tigers, and Arden Key is on his way to being one of the best. True sophomore. There's an injured Tiger. Can't see the number just yet. Thing about LSU's defense, Greg, they've given up just 9 touchdowns all year. And in their 2 losses, they've given up 2 touchdowns. In their 3 losses, I should say 2 touchdowns. And no passing touchdowns in their 3 losses.
Now, this defense has been outstanding. It all starts up front, too. Arden Key is the big name. But you name it. Gilmore, Neal, Godshaw. This Tiger front resembles the front that we saw from championship teams at LSU over the last decade.
There's Dante Jackson, who was shaken up. You see Dave Aranda, his first year here. He was at Wisconsin for 3 years. So he arrived to Madison just after Brett Bielema left. Paul Christ, the head coach, hired Aranda. Gary Anderson hired Aranda. And then Chris came in. Aranda then moved on to LSU. So 3rd and 13 after the sack, and they get Jackson to the sideline. Allen hit again, and his pass is nearly intercepted. One-hopped Jamal Adams in the area. So it's 4th down, a 3 and out for Arkansas to start the game.
Austin Allen had Cornelius right there crossing the middle of the field, tried to anticipate it. He knows he's got to get rid of the football early against this Tiger front. That time just a little too early, and the receiver wasn't able to get to the spot.
You think of all the great return guys they've had at LSU. Pat Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Tre'Davious White is another one. He's got a return for a touchdown this year. And he'll take a crack at it here in the 25, but a great play to trip him up. Arkansas's best special teams player, Ryder Lucas. Brett Bielema pointed him out to us yesterday in practice, talking about what a star he's been for them this year. And he made a terrific play to knock down White at the LSU 25. And now the offense, Danny Etling, who last week threw for 92 yards in the loss to Alabama. Spent 2 years as a starter at Purdue. This is his 7th start this year, replacing Brandon Harris week 2.
Very important for Danny Etling and this LSU offense to get off to a good start. Struggled last week, needs some confidence early.
And he's got Leonard Fournette in the backfield on first down. And it's a play fake for Etling. And trying to dump it off. And Fournette caught it. The ball comes out. And now they're going to rule it incomplete. But he never had possession. A defensive lineman, Tywan Johnson, was draped all over Fournette. So 2nd and 10. So Danny Etling, a junior from Terre Haute, Indiana. Now he had it going there for a little bit, Greg. 3 straight 200-yard games until last week against the Tide, but the Tide will do that to you.
He was heavily criticized this week, but if you actually look at the game he played, missed a lot of layups, didn't play well, but had very little opportunity. That offensive line up front needs to protect him better tonight against a capable Arkansas front.
Here's Fournette off the right side, pushes a defender down and steps out close to the marker. When he's not going, when Leonard Fournette is getting bottled up and averaging 2 yards a carry as he did last week, they just don't have the passing game to beat you. And Danny Etling needs to be in a 3-dimensional offense. Wouldn't you agree? Run, pass, and play action?
Has to be. This entire offense for LSU is predicated off the run game. Misdirection, nakeds, boots, and deep shot play actions. But it all starts with number 7 and his backup, number 5, Darius Geis.
And you highlighted the fullback, J.D. Moore, yesterday. He's in there now to help protect for Fournette on 3rd and short. And Fournette able to get the first down. He gets to the 41-yard line. That was great patience that time by Fournette, waiting for the hole to come open with Moore out there in front. And it's a first down.
Patience he didn't really show last week. He was hyped up. It was the Alabama game. He wanted a big night. He wanted to put the team on his back. But occasionally he didn't let the blocks develop up front. Missed a few holes. That time allowed Moore to open it up and his offensive lineman to get enough push for a critical first down on the first drive of the game.
Darius Geis is in at running back. He carried it just twice last week. Ed Orgeron said he'll get it more tonight. And here he is with a big hole straight ahead. A gain of 5 to the 46 for Geis. He's from Baton Rouge. He's got 3 100 rushing yard games this year, so he's another talent of that tailback position for the Tigers.
All you have to do is look at the yards per carry. Almost 8 yards every time he touches the football. Now Leonard Fournette, it's difficult to justify taking him off the field, but when you have a backup like Darius Geis, who's coming off only a 2-carry performance, feeling fresh, you have to assume he's going to get a heavy workload tonight.
Geis on the pitch, wrestled to the ground after a gain of 1, bringing up 3rd down at about 4. And it was Dwayne Eugene on the tackle. Eugene has been the starter the last few games after Dre Greenlaw, one of their best players, out with a foot injury.
3rd and 4 here. LSU has struggled on the first drive in ball games, has yet to score on the first possession this season. In fact, punted on every first possession until last week when they missed a field goal. Need to try to find one of their wide receivers here to get a first down.
And they're going to dump it off to Fournette. All green in front of him. Fournette past the 30-yard line, inside the 20. And he finally steps out of bounds at the 15-yard line. They had that set up beautifully, and it's a gain of 38 yards.
Outstanding job by Danny Etling. He said, "You're hot, Leonard Fournette. Nobody is covering you." The person that was responsible for Leonard Fournette blitzed off the left-hand side, leaving number 7 uncovered. And anytime he's wide open in space, you better get it to him because he's a load to bring down.
And Geis is in on first down for the 15. Geis off the left side, drilled in the backfield. Did well to get back to the line of scrimmage. Bijan Jackson was back there for Arkansas. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for LSU. The Tigers dropped 11 spots. I was really surprised that the College Football Playoff Committee felt that they should be sent to number 24 after going toe-to-toe with Alabama for 3.5 quarters. How can you be number 13 one week, 24 the next, when you play great for 3.5 quarters against the best team in the country?
I don't think they should have dropped that far. At the very worst, 18, maybe 19.
Play fake on 2nd down all day for Etling. And it's Colin Jeter fighting for yardage close to the first down at the 5.
Play action passing attack. Setting up some of the things they're doing. Throwing the football. Etling doing a nice job early on, getting the ball out of his hands quick, finding open targets and delivering the ball accurately. Already off to a much better start than we saw at any point last week.
Steve Ensminger calling plays now with Cam Cameron obviously no longer here. Fired along with Les Miles. First down and goal. Fournette is in, and here he goes. Turns on the Jets and finds Pater. Touchdown LSU. He hit that hole fast and hard. And Fournette with his 6th rushing touchdown of the year. And that's the best opening drive by far this season for the Tigers.
Great start. Tough game last week. Physical game, emotional game. You come to hostile territory and you march it right down the field for an opening drive touchdown.
Delahousse on for the point after and bangs it through to make it 7-0 LSU.
We wondered if they would get up off the mat. That question's been answered. LSU goes right down the field, 75 yards, and Coach O loves it.
We have had a cataclysmic reversal for LSU.
Tough loss at Auburn was how the Les Miles era ended at LSU.
24 hours later, Les Miles is gone.
This is such a panic move from LSU to do this now.
Ed Orgeron now is the interim head coach.
I think that Ed Orgeron is made for this job.
Orgeron 3-1 as the interim head coach, and his team off to a good start tonight, 7-0. They're 5-3 overall. They've lost 3 games by 17 points. And that crazy finish against Auburn, they allowed 6 field goals and then couldn't snap the ball before time expired, and they lost. And that was it for Les Miles. Stewart on the return, ripped to the ground, and a flag down at the 20-yard line.
Receiving team. Penalties after distance to the goal line. First down.
That's a big penalty after you just allowed LSU to march down the field and score. You'll start from your 10. Meanwhile, last week, they had 125 yards, 25 in the second half. And already 3 first downs, 75 yards in the first drive.
There just was no rhythm last week offensively. They got the ball, obviously, after a 3-and-out forced by their defense. They got the running game going early. Quick passing attack. Danny Etling was accurate. It's a great start if you're a fan of the LSU Tigers.
But this kid is used to bouncing back. He's been bounced around a lot over the course of his career as they run Depwa Whaley, true freshman, off the right edge. He's met by Lewis Neal at the 9-yard line. It's a gain of 2 for Whaley, who played well in the Florida game. He had 135 yards total offense. The starter is Raleigh Williams. We'll see plenty of him tonight as well.
It's a good 1-2 punch. At Arkansas, it seems like they always have a couple of backs that can flat out play. You think back to Darren McFadden and Felix Jones, most recently Jonathan Williams. They always have talented running backs.
On 2nd and 9, they'll keep it on the ground here with Whaley. And boy, if he could have made a guy miss there in the hole, he would have gotten the first down. He gets dragged to the ground there by Riley. So we take a look at tonight's Impact Players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Raleigh Williams, obviously the starting running back, second leading rusher in the SEC. He's going to have his hands full, though, going up against a defense that's outstanding, both against the run and the pass. Arden Key, he already has a sack to his name, and Tom Luganville. Kendall Beckwith is outstanding at middle linebacker.
Well, he is, and let's see number 49, Arden Key, at the bottom of your screen. See how Skipper, the big offensive tackle, stacks up.
Allen throws, and it's caught for a first down by Jared Cornelius. But, Tom, you're not kidding. I mean, you watched the left tackle, Dan Skipper, against Arden Key. That 6'10 left tackle against a 6'6 defensive end.
Just the sheer arm length and the extension between the two players. That's a lot of space, a lot of room that Dan Skipper gives Arden Key to have to work around. I like the tone here for Arkansas offensively. Run, get yourself in 3rd and short.
And it gets him out of trouble. Remember, this drive started on their 7-yard line. Allen off a play fake, sliding up, and a sliding catch made at the 41-yard line by one of the top tight ends in the country, Jeremy Sprinkle. And it's a gain of 21 on the play.
Great catch by Jeremy Sprinkle. It's a good throw by Austin Allen, too. Low and away. Sprinkle goes down, secures it. Very nimble for a big, talented tight end. He's listed at 6'6", 250. He moves a lot better than that, though.
You think how good Hunter Henry was last year. I don't know if Sprinkle is in that category, but he's definitely in the conversation. Whaley on first down gets maybe 2. Duke Riley on the hit. The whistle blew at the 42, so it's going to be a gain of 2 on the play. By the way, we're being told that over on ABC, Pittsburgh leads Clemson in the final seconds. The Panthers just kicked a field goal to go up 43-42. And that certainly would shake up the top 4 if the Tigers were to go down at home against a Pitt team that just got clobbered by Miami.
And right after Clemson probably put together their best performance of the year against Syracuse last week.
And we're told it is a final. Pitt has knocked off Clemson. Here's Whaley off the right side, and he's able to turn on the Jets and make it to the 49, about a yard short. We're seeing all Debwa Whaley and no Raleigh Williams so far in this game. Whaley, a true freshman from Beaumont, Texas, 3rd and a yard coming up.
And Tom, I know you like Debwa Whaley coming out of Dallas. Very elusive, big body back, but has better than you would expect speed and acceleration laterally.
Well, he does. We had him in the Under Armour All-America game last year, and he's very similar to number 5, Darius Geitz for LSU on the other side. He's a blend of speed, power, explosiveness. Brett Bielema calls him the most explosive and best complete back he's ever recruited.
I am surprised that Williams isn't in there. Allen off play fake, and he underthrows Sprinkle. 4th down. Let's check in with Adnan.
All right, Dave Pasch, craziness in Death Valley. 4th and 1. Clemson's up by 2 against Pitt. This is the play call, which many will be second-guessing as Pitt's defense stops him. So Chris blew it from 48 yards out. He didn't blow it. Pitt pulls it out. Clemson won 46 straight against unranked opponents. Dave, back to you.
Greg, can Clemson still make the college football playoff?
They can. You're afforded one loss in the college football playoff era to this point. That's a bad loss, though, if you're a fan of the Clemson Tigers.
White with the fair catch at the 16. 7-0 LSU.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Book at Hampton.com for a guaranteed discount. And in part by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
So 2 years ago, Arkansas knocked off LSU, then did it again last year in Baton Rouge. A boot shape like the states of the two programs, and this rivalry goes back to 1901. We welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton by Hilton. And the last time Arkansas won 3 in a row against LSU, almost 90 years ago. And they're down 7-0. And the Tigers have the ball 1st and 10. And they're going to run Fournette, but he goes nowhere. Penalty marker down as Fournette is dropped for a loss on the play.
Telvin Akeem. Going to talk a lot about him.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 76 offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
All right, let's take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Capital One. Week 2 from the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, the top 5. Alabama wins. Michigan's playing on ABC. Washington's playing SC. Ohio State back-to-back 60-point games. Guys, how can Clemson, playing in the ACC, still find a way into the college football playoff? They've had some close calls. They should have lost to NC State. They lose today to Pitt.
That's an ugly loss. Pitt has had so many moments in which they look very average. Clemson at home losing to a team that's unranked. It's going to be very interesting to see what the committee does with them on Tuesday.
Play fake for Etling, and the pass on target. Malachi Dupree brought down at the 23. Tom, are you with Greg that they're still in the picture? I mean, do they need teams in front of them to drop for them to have a chance to get in with one loss?
I'm not so sure I'm convinced of that just yet. Let's keep in mind there's a lot of football to be played. Got a big one between Washington and SC tonight. Still the Apple Cup to come out in the Pac-12. Ohio State, they lost to an unranked team at the time in Penn State. So I think it's a little premature. Let's not make a knee-jerk reaction with Clemson just yet.
It is looking more and more, though, like both Ohio State and Michigan are going to get in, assuming that Michigan's still unbeaten and Ohio State still has one loss when they play if the Buckeyes win that game. Fournette trying to stiff arm the defender Ryan Pulley. He comes up short of a line to gain. It's 3rd down.
It's going to be interesting, too, back to Clemson. Where will they sit relative to Louisville? They have to be ahead of Louisville because they beat Louisville head-to-head. Of course, Louisville right now in there at number 6. So you have to think, even though Clemson's loss is significantly worse than Louisville's, they'll still probably be ahead of the Cardinals.
Which keeps them right in the discussion, guys.
3rd down and 2. This is big for Arkansas's defense. LSU has momentum. They go to Fournette. He reverses field, gets a block from his quarterback. And Fournette able to get the 1st down to the 35-yard line. Ledbetter with a vicious tackle, and there is a penalty marker down. How about Edling out there blocking for his personal 30-pound back?
First collar tackle, number 55 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
Great job by the Razorbacks on the front side. However, when you're going against Leonard Fournette, you have to be aware of the backside cut. This time he runs around, gets a great block from his quarterback, and now you're going to tack on 15 on the back end. It's a good call by the officials. Very clear that is a horse collar tackle. Now LSU with a fresh set of downs, 50-yard line.
It is amazing to watch a guy that big as they run an end around here to Traven Durrell. It's snuffed out by Arkansas. Tackle by Ellis. But you go back to that play and you watch a guy 230, 235 pounds stop as quickly as he did, reverse field, and then outrun everybody. You won't even see that on Sundays.
That's what's remarkable about Leonard Fournette is the acceleration. For as big as he is, he gets to top speed so incredibly quick. Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 yards, and he's already running at 4.4 speed. So he's remarkably difficult to keep in check over the course of a game.
Geis is in on 2nd and 12. And Geis with running room as he slaps a defender to the ground to the 44-yard line. DeAndre Coley was the man there for Arkansas. Maybe the timing isn't great because we just saw a great run by Fournette, but you believe Fournette is not the best running back in college football?
I think that Dalvin Cook, with the way he's able to create, might translate a little bit better to the National Football League. Leonard Fournette is so remarkably gifted, but I do think there's room to grow with his patience and his ability to set up blocks in front of him.
We've had some coaches agree with you, so you're not the only one saying that. Etling, incomplete, trying to throw back shoulder. He was trying to hit D. Anderson, And Ryan Pulley in coverage. It is 4th down and 5 for LSU, and the Tigers will punt the ball. Well, there's no doubt that it's so hard to project who's going to be the best guy at the next level, and you see the freakish skills of Fournette, but we had one coach tell us that he has never seen a more talented player on film than Dalvin Cook. Cook is very different from Leonard Fournette, body type and type of running back. I still think Fournette's the best, so it's just my opinion. As the kick goes into the end zone, LSU couldn't keep it out. It's a touchback. Late first quarter, Arkansas football, the Razorbacks down 7-0. At 10 a.m., it's NFL Insider Sunday edition, and then at 11, the new Sunday NFL Countdown Crew. Monday night, Odell Beckham, who started LSU, now a member of the Giants, of course, Pro Bowler, taking on the disappointing Bengals. It's a big game for Cincinnati Monday at 8:15. They're 3-4-1 on the season, the Bengals. Here at 7-0 LSU, Arkansas on offense for the 3rd time. First down from its 20-yard line. Razorbacks have just 38 yards of offense against LSU's terrific defense. Raleigh Williams off the left side, nothing.
No, guys, when we talk about Austin Allen, when he gets in trouble, it's when his footwork is off, and that's where the inaccuracy comes. So when you watch him, even when he came out on that last series in the 3rd down, he comes out on bootleg. Now, he's under duress, he's rushed, but look at his feet. If he doesn't have a foundation and a good base, accuracy starts from the feet up, whether it's in the pocket or on the move. When his feet are underneath him and he's planting and transferring weight, he is awfully difficult to beat.
He's going to throw here off a play fake and fires to a wide open defender. It's picked off by Donnie Alexander, and he takes it back to the 15-yard line. Don't know if Allen didn't see him or just made a bad throw, but it was right to Alexander for his first pick of the year.
Tom Luganville was talking about Austin's feet. They're great here.
Yep.
He's just trying to hit Keon Hatcher on a deep crossing route, and he didn't even see the defender underneath. That's the easiest interception Donnie Alexander will ever have.
That was all eyes and coverage progression, Greg. Everything else was underneath him. Austin was on time, in rhythm, just didn't see the defender buzz.
And that is the 9th interception thrown this season by Austin Allen, giving LSU tremendous field position. Here's Fournette, lowers the shoulder and runs over Pulley. He's down at the 13-yard line, picking up 5 yards as the final seconds of the first quarter tick away.
Hey, Greg, as this first quarter winds down, and I'm charting down here, I've seen 2 plays defensively from Arkansas where their 3 technique, their defensive tackle, has actually played on LSU's side of the line of scrimmage. This LSU offensive line, to this point, is owning Arkansas's front 4.
That's where this game's determined, in the trenches, offensive and defensive line play.
Fournette straight ahead. First down, Leonard Fournette to the 7-yard line. Dwayne Eugene on the stop, but a fresh set of downs from the 7 for the Tigers.
It's a great first quarter for LSU. Had a tough, physical, emotional game last week against Alabama. Couldn't get anything going offensively. They've answered those questions tonight.
Last week they had 125 yards of total offense against Alabama. Tonight the Tigers with 115 to go along with 7 points in the first. Darren McFadden, part of that Arkansas team that beat LSU when it was ranked number 1 in 2007. He was swinging the bat afterwards, and the bat is back. McFadden's on injured reserve right now. So he is here in Fayetteville cheering on the Razorbacks, who are down 7-0, and it might get worse. LSU with a 1st and goal on the 7. Here's Fournette, and Leonard Fournette into the end zone for a 2nd touchdown already. After the interception by Allen, the Tigers strike quickly. Fournette with his 7th touchdown of the season on the ground.
LSU is just dominating the line of scrimmage, making Leonard Fournette and Darius Geist's job much easier than it was a week ago.
14-0 after the Delahousie extra point. The LSU Tigers, after the loss to Alabama last week, we wondered if they would respond. They have in a big way. See on ESPN. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganbill in Fayetteville. And this college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. The LSU Tigers taking advantage of a turnover deep in Arkansas territory. They forced a turnover in every game this season, and they lead 14-0. 6 seconds into quarter number 2. Short kickoff, and it's Stewart from the 10. Wrapped up at the 20-yard line.
Leonard Fournette and Darius Geist get all the publicity, but how about we throw a bone to their fullback, J.D. Moore, one of the best in the business. Look at that. And then he follows up on a wham block. That's a defensive tackle, by the way. He's holding his ground. J.D. Moore, an unsung hero for this team, does so many things, both in the passing game and obviously opening up holes for those outstanding running backs that line up right behind him.
You saw those rush defense numbers. They had the bye week in between the Auburn and the Florida games to get things right, but a struggle so far early on. Raleigh Williams on first down running the ball for Arkansas, picks up 3 to the 25, tripped up by Frank Herron.
Note, Greg, when we were talking to Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator at LSU, he said, listen, we wake up playing man, we go to bed playing man, we get off the bus playing man. But we know Arkansas is going to run it. If they run it, we're in trouble. So far, holding up in the trenches in the front 7 for LSU.
Winning at the point of attack on almost every snap defensively.
We're going to keep it on the ground here with Williams. And he's brought down by Kendall Beckwith and Devon Godcha. So it'll bring up third down for Arkansas. And at some point, if you're the Razorbacks, you got to sustain drives the way LSU's running the ball. And Arkansas normally does that. They lead the country in time of possession.
I think this is a critical third down. I know it's early in the game. Arkansas, certainly, they can get back into any game the way they throw the football. This is an important time. The defense is reeling a little bit. LSU's running game's rolling. Austin Allen's got to make a good decision and pick up a fresh set of downs here.
On 3rd and 4, Allen with time, and the pass is tipped, incomplete. Beckwith broke it up. It was intended for Jared Cornelius. Got a 250-pound linebacker covering a wide receiver, put a big hit on him and broke up the pass.
Dave Aranda says we wake up, we go to bed, we play man all the time. So what do they do tonight? They play zone. Beckwith standing in the perfect spot to break up the third down attempt. So far, Arkansas's offense just can't get anything going, in large part due to outstanding play defensively by LSU.
Returnable for Tre'Davious White, but he's going the wrong way. Brought down at the 20-yard line by Troy Allison.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Zaxby's, indescribably good. And Ford, we go further so you can.
Veterans Day yesterday, and a look at some of the brave men and women from around the world sporting their school colors. We honor all America's heroes this week who've served and are currently serving in our nation's armed forces. So appreciative. If you're watching tonight, you have served previously or are currently serving, thank you for what you've done and do for our great country.
So incredibly grateful. I want to thank my granddad. He's a career Air Force pilot, Colonel Costin. We love you, man. Thank you.
LSU up 14-0. Taking over on first down, and the center gets pushed back by true freshman Austin Capps.
Prior to the snap, offside, contact in the neutral zone. Number 71 defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Leonard Fournette was bottled up against Alabama for the second straight year. And remember, that was coming off 284 yards against Ole Miss, an LSU record. What's the adjustment? This is a good Arkansas staff, coaching staff. What do you do differently to stop him?
You have to rally to the football, hold up very strong at the point of attack, and then make sure you cut off the backside just like that.
That'll work. Bijan Jackson beat his man and then gets Fournette to the ground before he even has a shot. Loss of 5.
I mean, he was through before you even had a chance. Just penetration on the front side. Obviously busted by the LSU offensive line. You have to let Leonard Fournette get going if you're LSU. Against Ole Miss, you mentioned the huge game, in large part due to the fact that he was untouched to the second level almost every time.
And you saw when he went down in a tackle, he was injured. And then he's on the sideline now. Remember, missed 3 games with an ankle injury. Etling looking downfield, and wide open receiver, first down to the 35, Traven Durrell. But watch the reaction here of Fournette right there. You can see it as he's tackled by Jackson. Injuries have been a problem for Fournette.
And Dave, he's not being attended by the athletic training staff right now. Brandon Harris, backup quarterback's talking to him as 7 walks it off. And that sure did ignite this crowd here in Fayetteville.
But then the quarterback Etling is sitting in the pocket, waiting all day, and throws a strike for a first down to an open receiver. Geis picks up 2.
No, Greg, Dave, I think getting back to the question you asked, what's the adjustment? Well, number one, you've got to have absolute war daddies up front. Guys that can clog gaps, they can occupy blockers, allow your linebackers to run to the football. Greg, I agree, you got to cut off the backside, but maybe most importantly, you got to be able to be willing to play man on the perimeter and load the box and dare people to throw the ball against man-to-man coverage to beat you.
LSU has capable wide receivers. They can beat man-to-man on a regular basis, just whether or not Etling can deliver it accurately.
And Etling going to throw a deep ball, and my goodness, Dupree is wide open inside the 20-yard line. Finally tracked down at the 14, but he was wide open in the middle of the field.
Mentioned beating man-to-man, one-on-one. Malachi Dupree delivers on a post, and a perfect throw from Danny Etling. Got it up and down, right on his landmark. What a huge play for this LSU offense, for Danny Etling's confidence. And now Arkansas has to be very aware of everything over the top when it comes to the passing game.
That was 49 yards. LSU fans saying, where's that been? We haven't seen the deep ball at all. Here's Geis, running room inside the 10, and Geis inside the 5. A first down for the Tigers. It'll be another first and goal as they look to go up 3 touchdowns here.
Arkansas just has nothing going right now along the defensive line. Guys are getting pushed back. Defenders are yelling at each other, confused. Mistakes abound for the Hogs defense.
Again, Geis in for the banged up Fournette. And Geis getting the pitch, turning it upfield and into the end zone. Touchdown, LSU. That's the 8th rushing touchdown for Darius Geis this season. And again, it just shows you mentally and physically how challenging it is in this conference, and in particular this division, to bounce back week to week. I mean, LSU couldn't do anything offensively last week. Yes, they're playing Alabama. Meanwhile, Arkansas destroyed Florida. And 7 days later, the Tigers are punking Arkansas right now because the Razorbacks can do nothing on offense, and defensively they're getting slapped around. They've given up 200 yards offense to LSU. It's the 6th annual State Farm Champions Classic from Madison Square Garden with Kentucky and Michigan State at 7 Eastern, followed by Duke and Kansas. So the top 3 teams in action, and both games are on ESPN. Darius Geis with a touchdown run. Leonard Fournette with 2 rushing scores. It's all LSU. Cameron Gamble. Deion Stewart comes up to the 11 to field it. And gets clocked at the 22-yard line.
When you're running the ball effectively, it's amazing what it does to the passing game. Look at the effect on the linebackers. All are keying on what's going on in the backfield. You have isolations on the outside, pitch and catch for Danny Etling. But these are the throws he has to make. The big play opportunities. He sees Malachi Dupree wide open down the left-hand side, hits him perfectly in stride between 2 defenders. It's a great start for LSU's offense, and Danny Etling is delivering the ball very accurately in the early going.
And we'll see what Arkansas is made of. Down 3 scores. Allen gets pummeled and throws incomplete, trying to hit Jeremy Sprinkle. Man, he took another shot. That time it was Bauer lighting him up. 2nd and 10.
Bauer just unblocked. Tight end released. No one's responsible for the end of the line of scrimmage. Those are opportunities you dream of if you're an outside linebacker or a defensive end. Miscommunication, it looks like, in the front and the protection. As a result, Austin Allen delivers an inaccurate football and has to clean off his jersey.
They're going to run the ball to Whaley on 2nd down. Cuts it upfield and is free. Shoves the defender out of bounds, and that'll get the crowd going. Jamal Adams, who's a big hitter, got pushed by Devwell Whaley on a 37-yard run.
Left foot in the ground, north-south. Couple of over-pursuing defenders. But you love when a running back finishes a run right there. Extends that right arm. It's an attitude play from the talented freshman Devwell Whaley.
And Adams said, okay, I've delivered some of those. I appreciate that.
He's been on the receiving end, and I can assure you he has laid out a lot more people than he's been laid out. I can promise you that. Jamal Adams, one of the best safeties in college football.
Well, that was big. Arkansas needed a big play. They got it there from their true freshman. Now let's see if the Razorbacks can complete this drive and at least get some points. Raleigh Williams is in now at running back. Here comes an end around. Cody Hollister, and he is slammed to the ground. Frank Aaron made the hit after a minimal gain. So they try the jet sweep there. Hollister does have a rushing score this year, but couldn't really get anything. There's Dan Eno, 2nd-year offensive coordinator. You mentioned it during the break. This is a prideful Arkansas team. Eno's told us going into the year, Austin Allen had high hopes. He wanted to start the year against Louisiana Tech and light them up. Well, it wasn't happening. They were trailing in the 4th quarter. Allen was over on the sideline throwing his helmet around, banging it against the ground. Eno said, look, I know this hasn't worked out how you planned and we wanted, but you got to win the game for me. As he completes it here, just shy of the marker to Hatcher, he was able to settle Allen down, and he went out and won the game in the 4th quarter. Louisiana Tech turned out to be a pretty good team, and that goes down as a good non-conference win.
It's funny because Brandon Allen was a starting quarterback here for 3 years, known for being very composed, relaxed, laid back type of personality. In comes Austin Allen, the starting quarterback now. Very emotional, very fiery guy. He certainly will get his offense going at some point with some accurate passing.
They're going to run the ball in 3rd and short, and they get it. Raleigh Williams able to move the sticks. You know, Austin, it's hard when you follow your brother one place, but he's done it everywhere. Junior varsity, high school in Fayetteville, and now at Arkansas. Austin is a junior. Brother Brandon is with Jacksonville. Was a 6th-round draft choice last year.
No, Greg, Dave, one thing about young quarterbacks sometimes, managing emotions is every bit as much as important as managing the game. And with a young quarterback, that's what Dan Enos has had to do. And now you got to understand the situation you're in, down and behind, going into the red area.
First down on the 32. Williams running right. Boy, it looked like there was a cutback lane there to the left. He kept it play side and only got a couple of yards. Not sure if you saw the same thing there, but looked like he missed something.
My goodness, was there ever a cutback lane? He's running a power, trying to get downhill, following his blockers. But over pursuit by Duke Riley, number 40, put that right foot in the ground and go. You have a chance to go one-on-one against a safety and possibly hit your head on the goalpost. Got to be a little bit more patient and allow the flow to dictate where you're going to run the football.
LSU stacking the box here on 2nd and 8. There was some movement. Keon Hatcher on the near sideline matched up against Dante Jackson.
False start. Number 4, offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Wide receivers jumping off sides has got to be your pet peeve as a quarterback. I never played wide receiver. I'm sure that's shocking to both you and Tom.
So you were able to yell at everybody except Julio Jones, right?
Absolutely. Would
Anybody
never
else you could yell at?
Would never yell at Julio.
Liar.
He'd yell at me. I can promise you that. Where are you throwing that, McElroy? But now it's 2nd and long.
Hey, it's called KYP. Know your personnel,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. 2nd and long. If I'm Dan Enos, the offensive coordinator, I'm thinking screen or a draw to try to get back in 3rd and manageable.
On 2nd and 13, pressure coming up the middle. Allen is drilled and sacked. Duke Riley was back there for LSU, and it's 3rd and long. Loss of 10.
Duke Riley did a great job recognizing what's going on. Whaley's responsible for number 40. Number 40's going to go as soon as he sees Whaley get connected with the outside. And you see Devil Whaley look back and say, oh no, I forgot I'm a freshman. I got to know my protection rules. It's a great job of recognizing by Duke Riley, seeing that the running back who's responsible for him got tied up elsewhere, deciding to green dog and sacking the quarterback, setting up an impossible 3rd down.
Allen gonna throw it deep. Receiver there. It's caught inside the 5. He stayed in bounds. Touchdown, Dominique Reed. Boy, Tre'Davious White stopped. There is a penalty marker down. White stopped. I don't know that he realized that Reed ran past him.
Offside. Number 49 of the defense lined up in the neutral zone. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
So Key was offside. It is a touchdown, but keep an eye here on the corner, Tre'Davious White.
Wow. 3rd and forever. He slows down when the receiver slowed down. That's inexcusable in man coverage. It's 3rd and long. The last thing you can do is give up a deep ball over the top. Tre'Davious White's one of the best in the business.
Only the 10th touchdown allowed by LSU defensively this season, and on 3rd and 22, it's a 44-yard touchdown pass to Dominique Reed. Hey, brought to you by Allstate.
Called it a near impossible 3rd down, but nothing's impossible for Austin Allen. Getting a read right down the left sideline for the touchdown. What a great throw and catch. And Tre'Davious White still trying to figure out why he slowed down. Took his eyes off the receiver. Next thing you know, Reed is in the end zone, and they're calling the Hogs here in Fayetteville.
It also shows us what we were documenting with Austin Allen as well, his ability to bounce back. Touchback, here's Adnan.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Quicken Loans bringing it home update. Ole Miss and Texas A&M on the SEC Network. This would be Christian Kirk wide open over the middle of the field. He will take it down all the way inside the 10-yard line. From there, it is Keith Ford on 1st and goal. So the Aggies strike first as they lead the Rebels, currently up 7-3 through 1. Dave, back to you.
And here's 21-7 LSU. A reminder that Alabama has clinched the SEC West with a win today. Auburn losing to Georgia. And you look at LSU and Arkansas where they are in the standings. Do you think Alabama can lose the SEC championship game and get to the college football playoff?
That's going to be very difficult because that SEC East champion, whether it's Tennessee or Florida, is going to be a very ugly loss if Alabama were to lose. However, I think we should not deal in the hypotheticals. Well, Alabama's going to be 30 points better, more than likely, than whoever it is they're playing in the championship game.
So let's go the week prior. Can they lose to Auburn, win the SEC championship, and make the playoff with one loss?
I do. I think they can definitely get back in. You're afforded a mistake along the way in the regular season. If you win a Power 5 league with 1 or 0 losses, proof's in the pudding. You're in the college football playoff.
Etling dropping it off to Moore. Nice play by Randy Ramsey. It's going to bring him third down. I think you can do that in the SEC and the Big Ten. I'm not sure you can do that in the ACC and the Pac-12. I think Washington.
Or the Big 12 either.
Right. Well, there's no championship game in the Big 12. But in the Pac-12, I think Washington's got to go unbeaten. And in the ACC, this really hurts Clemson. I think they're going to need some teams to fall in front of them for them to get in if they went out.
And you think about Clemson too, that Auburn loss now affects Clemson as well, because that was a really nice resume builder for the Tigers because they went on the road to Jordan-Hare in the first game of the year and won.
Big third down for Arkansas defensively, trying to keep momentum. Can they stuff the fullback? And it's going to be close. Keith and Mouton appears to be short. And it is fourth down. That's a big 3-and-out for Arkansas's defense here. After they scored the touchdown with a big play, you got to punt it here if you're LSU. Not going to go for it, fourth down on your own 35. And Rob Smith, the defensive coordinator for Arkansas, helping his guys rise up and make a stop.
Never understood that fullback dive. I understand it's a quick hitter, but you have two of the best running backs in college football. Number 5, Darius Geis, was on the field there. Hand it to him with a lead blocker and a full head of steam.
On a couple of hops, it's scooped up by Cornelius, and he makes it to about the 30-yard line. Proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. It's a great atmosphere here. Mid-November, temperature started in the 60s. We're in the 40s now for this night game as we check in with Tom down on the field.
Well, Leonard Fournette, the LSU running back, is cleared to go back in the game. He did re-injure and tweak the high ankle sprain he had been nursing earlier in the year. I don't believe we're going to see him. I got an inkling here on the sideline that they're going to let him get into the locker room, get evaluated, get taped up. But he is cleared to go back in the game should LSU choose to do so if they get back on offense here.
Well, you see him holding the gloves. He wears gloves, and he was nowhere near his helmet when we saw him walking around earlier. Meanwhile, Arkansas's got momentum. A first down on the 29, and they're going to hand it off here to Raleigh Williams, and he gets stuffed. Did a good job, though, to keep the feet moving and get a couple yards to the 31. Devon Gottschall was there first for LSU.
Great second effort. There was nothing going. Should have been stopped at the line of scrimmage or behind based on the way the offensive line was beat at the point of attack, but Williams refusing to go down and at least picking up a couple.
Nearing 3 minutes to go. Play selection has been pretty much even for Arkansas. Second down and 8, and they're going to throw it. Allen's pass off target, intended for Hatcher, and White had good coverage. Third down and long. If LSU gets the ball back, it'll have all its timeouts to work with.
Allen made a mistake earlier in the game, but has responded extremely well. That last drive, hitting obviously the big touchdown down the left-hand side. It's a good third down right here, though, against a very talented pass rushing group of the LSU Tigers.
3rd and 22. They scored a 44-yard touchdown. Here's 3rd and 8. Allen in trouble, steps up, gets hit, and down he goes. Gilmore, Bauer, both back there for LSU. And so the Tigers force a punt.
99. Right here, Greg Gilmore. He gets put on the running back. That is a mismatch in protection. He drives the running back way out of there, allowing his teammates to rally and sack Brandon Allen once again.
So, Greg, is that a mistake by one of the players, or is that what the coaches wanted, the running back on a defensive lineman there in that situation?
I can tell you the coaches don't want that matchup. That's a mistake, I think, when it comes to the communication between the back and the offensive line, and Austin Allen needs to make sure that they all get together on the sideline to avoid a similar fate in the future.
Because there are some coaches who want small on big in certain situations. Probably not there.
They may not be around very long, Dave.
You don't want 300 on 220. That's a mismatch every single day.
White is the deep man. This is a line drive that he can return. He's on his 32-yard line, but he's signaled for the fair catch. LSU will have decent starting field position now. Late in the second quarter. Go to Adnan in the studio.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Coming up on the Buick Halftime Report, jubilation for Pitt. Their first win against an AP Top 5 team in almost a decade, was Clemson's first loss against an unranked opponent, first time in 8 years. Dave, as you and Greg were talking about the ramifications now for Clemson trying to make the playoff, Joey Galloway, Danny Canal will weigh in on the Buick Halftime Report. Back to you, gentlemen.
Looking forward to hearing the guys' thoughts on that, what this means for Clemson and the other teams that are in the mix. Louisville's down right now to Wake Forest, and Leonard Fournette is back on the field for LSU. First down of the Tiger 33. They'll give it to Fournette, and he's trying to get the corner, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 37-yard line after a gain of about 5 on the play. Jared Collins did a good job, make sure that Fournette could not get outside. DJ Chark was blocking out there.
Good job by Leonard Fournette understanding the situation too. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Just a couple seconds more than that. Run the offense right now. Understand you got a big lead, can't make any mistakes, but you might be able to steal some points if you're able to reel off a first down or two here.
On 2nd and 6, they got the fullback J.D. Moore in again. Play action. Etling's going to throw it to Moore, and the pass on target. Close to a first down is Moore. Liddell with the hit. Boy, this is the best I've seen Etling play. I don't know if you agree with that, but he's looked really sharp and poised in this game.
He's played very well, very accurate, decisive, getting the ball out quick. His game against Ole Miss also played very well. Played well against Southern Miss. But this is the most consistent he's looked in a few weeks.
And there are some people calling for the backup Brandon Harris after he struggled last week, but Ed Orgeron said, nope, he's our quarterback. It was never a thought to go to the backup. Play fake again. Etling here being chased, throws it away. He was outside the pocket. Randy Ramsey chased him out of play. No grounding. Clock stop with 1:44 remaining in the half.
Well, Greg, that's really good, smart football right there by Danny Etling. And, you know, we talk about the common denominator of why Danny Etling had good performances tonight and against Ole Miss. When you're opening the gap in the run game and it's difficult for the opposition to rush you, you're going to have a much cleaner pocket and time to work through those progressions.
He has very talented wide receivers, Tom, and they can get separation. Last week against Alabama, he just didn't have enough time to really go through those progressions, and now Arkansas is struggling against the run game.
Pump fake for Etling, and not on the same page with the receiver. Incomplete. It didn't look like LSU offensively was lined up. The players were trying to communicate with a sideline. They were trying to take a shot to true freshman D. Anderson, but he stopped.
Some confusion there. Fournette was looking at the sideline. A couple guys weren't ready to go. Now you have 3rd and 10. Arkansas has all 3 timeouts remaining. Steve Ensminger's got to be smart, the offensive coordinator for LSU. Don't want to stop the clock and possibly give the ball back with 3 timeouts left.
Etling in the pocket finds Fournette, And Fournette is knocked down at the 49. Good pursuit by Ellis because it was one-on-one. Fournette against Eugene, and Fournette is bigger than Eugene, who's a linebacker. Ellis came over to help out. They got him to the ground to force a punt as Arkansas takes a timeout, 2 remaining, with 1:27 to go in the half. All right, time now for today's Aflac trivia question. Tonight is the 5th consecutive game for Arkansas against an AP-ranked opponent. Which team was the last to do it? Play 5 straight games against AP-ranked teams.
Oh, man.
It's an SEC school. There's a hint.
I would imagine that. Trying to think.
You want another hint?
That's if you can give me another one.
Okay, SEC school in the SEC East.
SEC East.
Well, think about it. Brett Bielema is 24-23. So this will be his 25th game. It is his 25th game against a ranked team. He's coached 23 games against unranked teams. So you look at their record, they're 6-3, but 3 of their losses against top 10 teams. Punt angle toward the far side, and it's an excellent kick. LSU will let it bounce and roll all the way down to the 1-yard line. That may change the game plan for the Razorbacks. All right, let's answer the question. Do you have a guess? SEC East, quickly.
Let's say Florida.
2013, it was Tennessee that played 5 straight games against AP-ranked opponents.
It's a tough question. You're making it tough on us today, Dave.
It's my job to make it tough on you. Arkansas has 3 wins against top 15 teams. That's tied for the most in college football with Alabama. LSU just lost to the Tide last week, but they have bounced back in a big way. Give Ed Ogeron, the interim coach, a lot of credit for the way his team has played in this first half after what took place last week and the way they lost that game. Out of the Arkansas end zone, it's Raleigh Williams straight ahead. And I'm not sure he actually got the play off. They may blow it dead here. The side judge was running in with his arms waving over his head to stop the clock. John McDade, our referee, going to tell us what's going on.
Running over to the Arkansas sideline. Have a quick discussion with Brett Bielema.
What a great job Brett has done with this program. You know, it's senior night. This group, year 1, was 0-8 in league play. Last year they were 5-3, and they're 12-4 in their last 16 games in the SEC. I remember when Barry Alvarez hired him when they were at Wisconsin, and Alvarez was the outgoing head coach, was staying on as AD. A lot of people said, Brett Bielema? Who is this? I mean, Paul Chryst was on the staff, now the head coach of Wisconsin. There are a lot of other coaches with more experience than Bielema had at the time, but Alvarez saw something in him, and Bielema led Wisconsin to 3 straight Rose Bowls. He coached Russell Wilson the 1 year that he was a grad transfer from NC State. Took the Arkansas job and has got this program going in the right direction.
I love Brett Bielema. Has so much confidence in what he's doing, has a true belief and a vision for this program. You mentioned this senior class in particular. They've been through a lot, highs and lows. They broke through in a huge way against LSU in 2014, shutting them out for the first SEC win under Brett Bielema. You know, they've carried some of that momentum.
And Greg, when you consider how long it took them just to win a conference game, so much of a transitional phase of a coaching staff and a team is getting guys to buy in and weeding through everything. And then when things don't start turning over as quickly as you'd like, it can be very tough for everybody to stay on track and be bought into what his vision has been. And then all of a sudden they started to turn the corner.
We're not sure what is going on right now. Replay is not looking at the last punt. Obviously, Brett Bielema and the referee, John McDade, are having a conversation, but we have not gotten word yet as to the reason for the stoppage.
I think it all goes down with Brett Bielema. Look at the hires he's made. Think about it. His defensive coordinator, Rob Smith, very highly respected. He's done an outstanding job. Dan Enos, the offensive coordinator. He was a head coach at Central Michigan. Bringing Paul Rhodes, who was the head coach at Iowa State last year. He's done a great job putting together a staff that can develop young players. Very physical, sound brand of football. They've been a fun team to watch over the last couple seasons.
You know, Bielema was telling us a story about how a couple weeks ago when they lost to Auburn, he was all excited and came home, and his wife reminded him, don't get too excited. You got a game next week, but also remember, you used to do that to people all the time at Wisconsin. Remember, there were games where he got accused of running up the score when really they were just handing the ball off and they couldn't be stopped. But he said, "Oh, that's a good point." He said to his wife, he's like, "I remember what it felt like when we used to do it to another team, and they just got destroyed by Auburn a couple weeks ago, and that made him feel better and kind of helped him get his mind back, knowing that they had a long season to go and that they had a good football team, and they responded 2 weeks later, beating Florida." Again, we still don't know what the reason is for the delay.
There's been an initiation of a review from the replay booth on whether the punt in midair touched the cable that's suspending the overhead camera. This play is now under video review.
I have never seen this before. We have Skycam here, and it's being reviewed to see if the ball hit the cable that has our Skycam. The ruling on the field was that it didn't. But someone upstairs, Al Ford's our replay official, thought that it might have, and that's why they're looking at it. Man, it's so hard to see if it changes direction here because of hitting an object.
I've never seen that before.
No. I've seen punts hit the Jumbotron in Dallas.
At AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
You've seen it hit the Skycam wire?
Yeah, when Greg was about 4 years old in the XFL.
By the way, they are doing a 30 for 30 on the XFL. And I can't wait to see Luke's performance in that. By the way, the camera, the Skycam, you're looking at the Skycam view. The Skycam should wobble if it hits the wire. And you see it didn't. It kept its, as I'm diagnosing the camera.
After video review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
What we're being told is you would see the camera move. It would wobble if the wire was hit. And it didn't, so we can go back to first down on the 1.
Usually I have a lot to say in a replay review, diagnosing whether or not call will be changed or if it will stand. I don't have much to add there. That was an interesting review process there.
This is big though for Arkansas here. You're backed up to your 1. And you got those dudes up front for LSU. You got to make sure you get it out of the end zone. Remember, the entire ball has to be out of the end zone for it not to be a safety. And they're going to pass. Allen stepping up. Look out. Throwing deep. It flutters and it's incomplete. His arm may have been hit. It didn't look good coming off the hand of Austin Allen.
It was most definitely hit. Dropping back, trying to steal one deep. That arm just got hit ever so slightly as he was trying to release the football.
Yeah, to Sean Bauer.
Right there. Dangerous play for the Razorbacks.
So it's second down and 10. They run the ball and they do get it out. Williams will give them a little breathing room. Nice job out to the 10-yard line. Third down and 1. Again, let's see how the Razorbacks handle this here.
LSU's going to take a timeout.
That's smart. That way, if Ed Orgeron stops the Razorbacks here, they'll get the ball back with time on the clock, and they should get good field position if they can stop them on a third down and 1. Been a lot of discussion, Greg, and we'll get into this more as we go along about the future of Ed Orgeron and who will be the next head coach of LSU. And obviously, we don't know the answer to that right now, but this says a lot about him.
Yeah.
After last week losing to Alabama, to be able to get this team back on track quickly for a road game.
It does, and I think Ed Orgeron, his candidacy is really going to be judged by this 3-game season, starting here tonight in Fayetteville against a quality ranked football team in the Arkansas Razorbacks. So I know a lot of people put so much stake into that Alabama game, but the way they've responded tonight, starting the game quick, playing well both offensively and defensively, speaks to the way he's able to encourage this football team.
They need a yard here on 3rd down. Raleigh Williams able to pick it up to the 12. Arkansas has 2 timeouts. Not sure, though, because they're still deep in their own territory, if they want to just let the clock run here. Starts on the ready for play. That looks to be the philosophy right now. Don't want to take any chances down here.
You do have to be impressed, though, guys, with this LSU team's ability to respond, and not just mentally off of last week, but as you mentioned, Greg, in the open, that is a backyard brawl. Those are 2 training rooms at Tuscaloosa and Baton Rouge that were overbooked last Sunday, I can tell you that.
Allen's going to throw it here, and Allen firing a deep ball, overshot the intended receiver, Drew Morgan. Now it's 2nd and 10.
This Arkansas team, it's got to be disappointing for the way they've started too. I mean, so much momentum coming off the performance last week against Florida, dominated that game. And to start like this in front of a crowd that was so fired up before the game has to be very disappointing. But Arkansas is a team that does a great job when it comes to adjustments. You know they're going to come out in the second half and make this one very competitive.
Here's Raleigh Williams. And he gets maybe a yard. We'll see if LSU uses its final timeout here or if the half comes to an end. The Tigers will get the football to start the second half, and they lead Arkansas 21-7 at halftime behind Leonard Fournette's 2 rushing touchdowns, Geis with a rushing score. But how about Danny Etling throwing for $141 in that first half? 222 yards of offense for LSU. Stay tuned for the halftime report with Adnan Burke. 21-7 LSU. ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton by Hilton. And you're watching the SEC on ESPN. LSU has not won a road game the week after the Alabama game in 20 years. Now we get it. They haven't always played a road game the week after Alabama, but it still tells you what you need to know. The Tigers have not played well, Greg, when they've had that tough physical game and mentally tough game against Alabama. But, boy, what a first half.
Great first half. Not only have they run the ball effectively, the passing game looks outstanding. Danny Etling, very accurate, decisive, hit a couple big plays down the field. They've really been moving on all cylinders, both offensively and defensively. Just got to keep it going into the second half.
Yeah, Danny Etling was terrific throwing the football in that first half. Arguably his best performance passing this season. And, of course, when you have a run game of Leonard Fournette and Darius Geis, you could be three-dimensional: run, pass, play, action. And that's why the Tigers lead at 21-7 as we get ready to start the third quarter, and LSU will get the football to start this half. McFain kicking it deep. And Geis will take a knee. It'll be a touchback. Come out to the 25.
We know Fournette's a star. Geis is a star in the making. But Danny Etling's been very good with the football. Recognizes pressure, gets it out to Leonard Fournette on the swing for a big gain to set up their first score. And then he has Malachi Dupree one-on-one on the outside. He's able to get it up and down before the free safety can get back to make a play. Very accurate with the football. He's really done everything you could possibly ask of him to this point. Smart, decisive, good in the run game, and making good quality decisions. That's what you want to see if you're an LSU Tiger fan.
Let's see how Arkansas responds, down 2 scores. First down to the LSU 25. The pitch to Fournette. And he gets maybe a yard. Gang tackled at the 26 as we check in with Tom Luganbill.
Well, guys, Brett Bielema in pretty good spirits coming out of the locker room. I asked him about the inability to convert on third down because they've been in manageable third down situations on offense. He actually joked and said, yeah, maybe we would prefer it to be 3rd and 25. The adjustments on defense, they got hit in the mouth. And that's exactly how he put it. He wasn't worried about the 2 big plays they gave up. He felt they responded from there, but they've got to be more consistent sustaining drives on offense.
Yeah, Brett talking about that 3rd and 22. They scored a 44-yard touchdown pass. Play fake for Etling. In trouble. Gets rid of the pass to Fournette. There's a flag down, and so is Fournette. He lost a yard on the play. Etling was in the grass, but was able to get rid of the ball before the sack. It's against LSU. So if you're Brett Bielema, do you decline it here? It's 3rd and 11 or 2nd and 20.
He's deciding now he's going to take it.
Holding. Number 77 offense. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's on Ethan Posick, the center for LSU.
Ethan Posick just getting a little bit tied up in the front. Not a lot going downfield. You can see that left arm grabbing. That's clearly a hold. Good call by this officiating crew.
I almost think you decline that. It's 3rd and 11. Because then number 7's probably not going to touch the ball on 3rd and 11. But there's a good chance he's going to touch it on 2nd and 19. Instead, they throw it out in the flat. That's behind Chark. And Chark breaks the tackle. He's ahead of the 22. And they go down as a run play. That looked backwards, and so it would have been a live ball, and Chark didn't snare that. 3rd and long.
That's why you take the penalty, because now it's 3rd and 13 as opposed to 3rd and 10. Obviously, you have to cover for one more down. But this is a tough spot for this LSU offense. Obviously, heavy play action type of team. Play actions don't work as well when it's an obvious passing situation.
Etling to throw, but a penalty flag down. A dead ball foul. There was movement. It's going to be 3rd and longer.
75 offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's on Maya Tahuma, who is starting at right tackle for Toby Weathersby, who's their normal starter, but he's battled an ankle injury throughout the year. Tahuma normally a guard, but playing right tackle tonight. He moved. It's 3rd and 18.
Very tough spot. Got to think screen. If I'm offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger, I'm thinking screen, or I'm just handing it off to Leonard Fournette, one of the best players in college football. See if he can get something for it.
And they will hand it to Fournette here. He turns it upfield and gets to the 30-yard line. He lost the ball on the play, but they're going to rule Fournette down. Randy Ramsey, as there's pushing and shoving after the play, and now maybe a guy took a swing at an LSU player. Dietrich Wise was getting into it with DJ Chark, but no penalty flags. And there's an injured LSU player as well. But man, if Ramsey doesn't get the foot of Fournette, he might have picked up the 1st down. Again, the ruling on the field is that he's down. Let's see here if he's down before the ball. Oh my goodness, that ball's out.
That ball is out.
And Arkansas had an immediate recovery. A clear recovery by Arkansas on the play.
You can see Eugene.
The ruling on the field is that the runner down. This play is now under video review.
They're going to definitely take a look at this. This ball is clearly out. The immediate recovery you can see clearly in the grasp of number 35, Dwayne Eugene.
Watch the left leg. And that ball's coming out. Yep. It's out. It's out. The fans and the players are celebrating. Has to be video evidence that is indisputable. Can't be any doubt. That's a fumble.
That is out.
It'll be Arkansas ball. Now they got to figure out where was the recovery. How much time should be on the game clock.
That could be something they're going to look at, though. Did they for sure get immediate recovery? You can see on the back end of that replay, it's very clear, to me at least, that Eugene came down with that football.
I'm with you. And then Will Clapp, the left guard for LSU, was injured on the play as well.
Arkansas offense is already on the field. They feel strongly about it. That offensive line knows it's a real likely possibility that we're going to get the ball right here.
Well, the way LSU is moving the football offensively,
After
they need
video
this.
review, the ball is loose and is a fumble prior to the runner's knee down. There's immediate recovery by Arkansas. First down.
That is a huge play for the Razorbacks, something they needed. Now, they were going to get the ball back via a punt because of the LSU penalties and then Fournette coming up short. But now you have the ball inside the LSU 30 as Fournette coughs it up.
Huge play. Austin Allen has been at his best in the second half of football games and also in the red zone as they near the red area right now.
They go out of two-back. Keep an eye on Kendrick Jackson here, the fullback, leading the way for Raleigh Williams. And he's got a big hole inside the 20. Williams wrestling with the DB is all the way to the 10. An 18-yard run by Williams, and it was Jackson, the fullback, out there in front.
Williams had a chance at this cut earlier in the game. This time he hits it. And look at the result. Huge gain. First play of the second half. All the momentum with the Hogs right now as they're knocking on the door.
Well, that's a great point, Greg, because in the first half, you mentioned it, there was the cutback lane that wasn't there. He kept it play side. But that time, he took the hole. And they have a first and goal. They'll give it to Williams again. He moves the pile down to the 7-yard line, maybe the 6. Raleigh Williams closing in on 1,000 yards. He leads the SEC in attempts, and it's remarkable what he's done this year considering what happened to him last year. Had a serious neck injury, was carted off the field, and they weren't sure whether he not only would play last season but would ever play again. But he's at 1,003 yards now, the 4th straight year that Arkansas has had a 1,000-yard running back. On second and goal, here's Williams again, and he is grabbed in the backfield by Arden Key. Able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Now it's 3rd and goal.
Arden Key is so good. Just completely stuffed that counter play. Williams had nowhere to go. And now it's 3rd down against a very good red zone defense. Austin Allen has been at his best throwing the football in this part of the field. Of his 19 touchdown passes coming into this game, 15 come in the red area.
LSU not sure if they have enough guys on the field. There was a defender running off, Frank Herron, but now he's back out there. Play action for Allen on 3rd down, and the ball is nearly picked off by Arden Key. It's incomplete. 4th down. And Arkansas will bring in the field goal team.
Just can't say enough good things about Arden Key. He sees the boot. Allen's got a man open. The only guy between Allen and Hatcher for the touchdown is Arden Key. And sure enough, like he usually does, he makes the play.
He's so long, he's dropping there. He's 6'6", got long arms. And the attempt is good by Adam McFain from 24 yards. So Arkansas gets 3 points off the Fournette fumble.
Game time just got more interesting. College football is brought to you by Dos Equis.
The score is 21-10. LSU leading Arkansas. College football prime time from Fayetteville. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville on a chilly night, mid-November in the SEC West. Arkansas at 6-3, all 3 losses against top 10 teams. LSU at 5-3, coming off a loss to Alabama. The Razorbacks just kicked a field goal after a Leonard Fournette fumble. Now it's Geis on the kick return for the Tigers. And Geis won't even make it to the 20.
Arkansas is known for making adjustments in the second half. Raleigh Williams, this was earlier in the game, has a 2-way go. He opts for the right. Clearly a big mistake. Same play, same cut. He goes to the left this time for a big gain to set up the field goal. great job of taking what you learned in the first half and applying it in the second half for better results.
Now let's see how LSU responds after a turnover, its first giveaway of the game. They got behind the sticks with a negative play and then a penalty. Fournette back out there. He was injured in the first half, returned at the end of the first half. They fake it to him here, and Etling throws in traffic. It is knocked away, incomplete. Let's check in with Adnan.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Cree LED lighting player spotlight shining on Brandon Radcliffe, Louisville, and Wake over on ESPN2. The Cardinals stymied in the first half, shoot themselves in the foot with too many turnovers, but here Radcliffe to the rescue as the Cardinals get in the end zone. Still down by 2, under 6 left in the third. Back to you, Dave.
Yeah, been an interesting day, Adnan, in the ACC with Clemson losing at home to Pitt. 2nd and 10 for LSU. Fournette. A flag down. Fournette to the 24-yard line, picking up 5 on the play before Santos Ramirez hit him. It's coming back.
Guys, they're going to get Ethan Posick here, number 77 in the center, for a complete drag down on Winston here.
It's totally obvious right here, Tom. He's pulling out and around. He's getting beat. You see that left arm just tug Winston. Brings him to the ground. That's an easy call for the referee.
Well, the other thing, too, guys, is Will Clapp is not in the game. One of their more reliable offensive linemen. Remember, he got injured on the Fournette fumble. Garrett Brumfield is in at left guard replacing him. That doesn't help.
Second drive for LSU, which they've been backed up as a result of a holding call.
Pistol formation on 2nd and 19. Here's Fournette getting outside. Look out! Fournette past the 20 and out to the 27-yard line. He got almost all of it there on 2nd and 19. It will be 3rd down, though.
He's so fast. And once he gets going, he's so hard to bring down. You see Brooks Ellis doesn't get there quick enough. Now sets up from 2nd and 19 to 3rd and 2. That's what great players give you. Leonard Fournette is as good as they come.
When he's not touched in the backfield and he's got a full head of steam and he hits the hole, that is a grown man running. 3rd and 2. Here's a pitch to Geis. Arkansas's got him, but they can't make the tackle, and Geis is down the sideline in Arkansas territory all the way to the 36-yard line. They had a chance to get Geis at the line of scrimmage. He broke a tackle and went for 37 yards.
They went with the fullback dive on 3rd and short earlier in the game. This time they faked the fullback dive, go with a little Vegas flip out the backside. A great job by Geis in the open field, picking up big yards when this LSU offense had to have it.
Geis stays in on 1st and 10 in Arkansas territory. Geis finds a hole. He's to the 30-yard line and dragging defenders to the 25. The run game for LSU heating up here in the 3rd.
It's got to be tough to take Leonard Fournette off the field for as good as he is, but it makes it a lot easier when his backup is as smooth as Darius Geis is. You see how effortlessly he moves side to side. He's actually, tonight, the leading rusher so far here in the early 3rd quarter.
They told us he would get the ball tonight. He had only 2 carries last week. He's got 10 for 86 yards. Fournette is in there, but it's a play fake. Etling in trouble, gets tripped up and pushed out of bounds by Ramsey. And here comes a flag. Boy, I don't know about that. He pushed him. The question is, was he out of bounds?
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 10 of the defense. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. Automatic 1st down.
He was definitely headed out of bounds, but was he out of bounds when contact was made?
He's close enough. Etling does a good job of trying to get to the sideline and anything extra. I mean, he's clearly given himself out.
I don't know. I don't like that call at all.
Maybe I'm just a quarterback.
Maybe? Well, we know you're a quarterback, but you can.
I'm a quarterback, and I don't like it.
Yeah, come on, guys. I mean, I know he's heading out of bounds, but he's still in play when contact is made.
But they'll call it every time. Every time. He's clearly headed for the sidelines. Any push, anything extra, it's going to result in a penalty.
Fournette is in as the Wildcat quarterback, and here he goes. Trying to find a hole, and he's down to about the 2-yard line. Dragged down by Tywan Johnson.
Good patience there, Greg, from Leonard Fournette. If you saw just the slight delay once he got the direct snap, and then very quick with his feet to navigate that inline crease. And I think there's times with Leonard Fournette, you and I have talked about this, where he could stand to be more patient, where he gets ahead of his blocks, doesn't utilize the value of the fullback. Really good patience there by number 7.
You're right, Tom. Great job right there by Leonard Fournette.
Fournette on 2nd and goal, looking for his 3rd touchdown. He's got it. Great response by the Tigers after the turnover. Leonard Fournette had 5 rushing touchdowns on the season coming in. He's got 3 tonight. An Arkansas team that normally dominates time of possession has had the ball for just 16 minutes. And they find themselves trailing by double figures midway through the 3rd. The extra point makes it an 18-point LSU lead.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Push button, get mortgage. And Arby's. Arby's, we have the meats.
We get to a lot of college campuses. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's a senior walk that's 4 miles long and has the years and names engraved of everybody from the 1800s. And the names of these players will be engraved on the concrete for the senior walk. Over 170,000 graduates are now listed. They will include Dan Skipper, Dietrich Wise, Drew Morgan, and others playing on senior night for Arkansas tonight. The last 2 games of the regular season for the Razorbacks are on the road. And they're down 18 points to LSU. A lot of time left. But they're playing against a great defense and great special teams as Stewart is spun to the ground at the 10-yard line. And Arkansas will be backed up here. You look at what Fournette and Geis have done so far in the game. Last drive, they combined for 78 yards rushing.
That last drive, you didn't think much was going to come of it. Backed up 2nd and 19. Here, we'll just hand it to Fournette. Next thing you know, you got 3rd and 2. We'll flip it to Geis. Next thing you know, you're in Arkansas territory. You're scoring a couple plays later. This team is so good when they can get the passing game tied in to the running game. That's exactly what they've been able to do tonight.
Quick pass out on the flat behind Morgan. And he picks up about 3 yards, tripped up by Jamal Adams. Adnan, what do you have for us?
Well, Dave, want to bring up today what's happening in the Big Ten. It's Michigan and Iowa. It's over on ABC. This is Ty Isaac here with the touchdown. The 37th rushing touchdown this season for Michigan. That leads the FBS. Did just allow a safety, so it's 10-2, 6.5 left to go in the first half of play. Dave, back to you.
And then just to support you, here are some Big Ten East standings. Boy, Penn State, a lot of people said, man, they're ranked way too high, but they have looked really good the last 2 weeks. That was a nice win against Indiana today. 2nd and 8, Allen in trouble, steps up and able to dump it off, but Kendall Beckwith absolutely destroys the running back. It's incomplete. Devwell Whaley will feel that in the morning. Beckwith at 247 met him when the ball arrived.
Yeah. Allen does a good job stepping up, keeping his eyes downfield. There's just nothing you can do right there. What a tackle. What a hit. Separating the football from the intended receiver. Kendall Beckwith, he's all over the field. Every time you put on the tape, he stands out. One of the most consistent players in college football at the middle linebacker spot.
3rd and 8. Allen back to pass. And that one off target. Intended for Sprinkle. Adams in coverage, so Arkansas has to punt. And keep in mind, the Razorbacks have already scored 1 touchdown. That's just the 10th allowed by LSU this year. In order for Arkansas to win this game, they're going to have to score 3 touchdowns. LSU hasn't given up that many in a game this season, having already surrendered 1.
Arkansas just been inconsistent running the football, just getting them behind the chains, which worked out for them once on 3rd and 22. You can't rely on that every single time against a defense like this.
Tre'Davious White muffed the football. Arkansas is on top of it. A big turnover by Tre'Davious White as Cody Hollister has it for the Razorbacks. That's the second big mistake that White has made in this game. He fell asleep on a pass play that cost him a touchdown, and now he muffs a punt return.
Wow. Just takes his eyes off of it. Hollister in a perfect spot. Toby Baker, the punter, all kinds of fired up. I guess he can take credit for that if he'd like, Dave.
Sure. Hey, nobody's going to cheer for it when you kick it 55 yards. So when the other guy muffs it, you'll accept the applause.
Tough mistake by White.
Here's Raleigh Williams running the football, trying to turn it back upfield, and only gets 2 yards. Brought down by Tashawn Bauer. You think Arkansas, oh look, they got to get something. They have to get points either way. Are you starting to think they need touchdowns because you're at 5.5 on the 3rd, or can you get away here with just 3 points to make it a 2-possession game?
No, you can get away with 3. There's still plenty of time. Obviously, Arkansas not known for the hurry-up, up-tempo offense. They can't generate points as fast as some of the other teams in college football, but it's certainly not too early to start panicking.
Here's the throwback, and LSU read it beautifully. Boy, Jamal Adams was not fooled. They were trying to throw it back to the tight end, Jeremy Sprinkle, and he loses yardage because of the smart play by Adams. So now it is 3rd down and 15.
Great play by Jamal Adams. There was a little bit of room, not much. He made sure that room disappeared quickly as he closed on Sprinkle. Great job in the open field, bringing down the big-bodied tight end.
Let's see how they handle this here. They try to run the ball to get 8-9 yards to give McFain, who's got a big leg, a chance. Or are they throwing it here in 3rd and 15? It will be a pass play. Setting up is Allen. His pass, though, is high. Boy, there was contact. There was contact made by Dwayne Thomas on the receiver, Jared Cornelius. Perhaps the official felt the pass was uncatchable, so it's 4th down.
There was definitely a little contact. That ball was well off the mark. A little bit, but not much.
What an answer by this LSU defense, guys. I mean, this is a couple of times now where they've been able to hold after a mistake in their own territory and put Arkansas in a difficult position, and there's no chunk plays right now coming from this Arkansas football team.
White will get another chance here. He just muffed the punt. This one he secures at the 10. LSU in command, being physical on offense, with Geis and Fournette running over defenders, and physical on defense as well. Sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton by Hilton. With Greg McElroy and Tom Luganville, I'm Dave Pasch in Fayetteville. It's been all LSU, 28-10 over the home team. The Tigers were shut out at home against Alabama last week, but that game was tied going into the 4th quarter as Leonard Fournette drives forward to about the 13-yard line. But the offense tonight, a different story. They are just pounding Arkansas up front with Fournette and Geis, who combined for $173 and 4 touchdowns.
They've done a great job in the open field, but you have to give so much credit to their offensive line, who have just imposed their will. Fournette and Geis are outstanding. When you have big, holes to run through. Certainly makes them look so much better. They've been great tonight.
Those runs we showed you were all from the last drive. That 2nd and 19 run that Fournette picked up 17 was huge. As you saw Geis on that run down the sideline, that was 3rd and 2. Here's a dump-off pass to Doral. He's going to be close to the first down. Ryan Pulley was trying to keep him from getting to the line to gain. They're going to spot him just short. Big 3rd down for Arkansas defensively here.
You got to watch their defensive line. They stopped LSU on a 3rd and short a little earlier. On the last drive, a 3rd and short. Let one get away. This is all on Brooks Ellis, the middle linebacker, and those big boys up front.
Fournette gets the first down easily. Dives to the 27-yard line. And Fournette shaken up again. It's that left ankle that's been bothering him. He missed 3 games this season with it. He's still averaging 140 rushing yards a game.
Yeah, you just wonder, I mean, is he at 100%? I mean, if he's not, it's going to be really scary when he does in fact get to 100%, because he has been outstanding tonight.
His backup Darius Geis pretty good as well. 1st and 10. They'll keep it on the ground here with Geis. And he gets leveled in the hole. And the guy that hit him is hurt. Randy Ramsey shaken up. Geis spun away from one man, and then there was a collision. It was DeAndre Coley who made the hit, and that's who's down. Coley for Arkansas.
And what a collision.
And you saw an Arkansas player motion immediately to the sideline for the trainer. So DeAndre Coley being tended to on the field at the 25-yard line with 2:03 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Take a look here at the hit. Ooh, as they meet helmet to helmet there. Hopefully both guys are okay. It's remarkable to see DeAndre Coley sitting up. I mean, there was enormous contact. Tom Luganville was just telling us during the break that he's never heard anything that loud on the field. That type of collision there between Coley and Geis. I mean, their helmets met. Coley went down hard, but the fact that he's up on his feet when initially there were Arkansas players that were jumping up and down, motioning to the trainers on the sideline to get onto the field to help Coley. This is great to see.
Thank goodness. That was a scary collision between him and Geis.
We're going to take a look at this and listen here. But he's all right, or at least appears to be, on 2nd and 7. Etling surveying the defense. Nothing there. And so he throws it away. And now Arkansas starting to get into must-stop territory here on 3rd down and 6.
I think you got to stop him here. His defense has been on the field. Hasn't been great against the run. This is a very important down, because 18 points to LSU with the way they're playing defense right now, that is a very difficult margin to overcome.
Since Ed Orgeron took over as the interim coach, they've given up 20 points in the 2nd half in 5 games now. 3rd and 6, play clock winding down. '25-yard line. Harris is there for Arkansas.
Just run a bunch of twists up front. Bringing 6. Had to get aggressive defensively. Defensive coordinator Rob Smith called the right play at the right time to drop the LSU quarterback.
That's Louisiana native DeJohn Harris, true freshman, getting his first sack of the season. And fair catch made by Cornelius at the 28-yard line after a 44-yard punt. Take a look at some news and notes as we span the globe of college football. Alabama clinching the SEC West with a rout of Mississippi State, and Auburn losing to Georgia. Clemson, after blowing out Syracuse and looking like maybe a team that could challenge Alabama last week, gets beat at home to Pitt. First regular season loss in 2 years, and boy, Ohio State back-to-back 60-point games. First time under Urban Meyer. When we saw him against Northwestern, we thought there might be some question marks about their offense. So did the coaching staff, but they've got it figured out apparently. From the 29, it's Whaley, and he's pushed back after a gain of 1. Who do you think right now, since Clemson lost, is the most dangerous team in college football in terms of a challenger to Alabama?
It's got to be Ohio State. Remember 2014, they of course beat Alabama in the semifinal. But if you look at that roster, the talent that Urban Meyer's recruited, the depth along the defensive line, and the seniority that they get from a quarterback in JT Barrett, they're poised for big moments.
Allen throws complete. Tackle made by Cornelius. So no Michigan, huh?
I'm going with Michigan. I think you can't put the cart in front of the horse, and that game's going to be it could be one of those knockdown, drag 'em outs like we saw with LSU and Alabama a week ago. And whoever makes the fewest errors makes the biggest plays. That one's going to be a great one for the big game.
Two great defenses with Michigan and Alabama. If they get there, I think a lot of people will be watching that one.
1 quarter to play in Fayetteville. LSU has put on a show running the football. They have mauled Arkansas here tonight, 28-10. You're watching the SEC on ESPN from Fayetteville, Arkansas. 28-10, LSU in front. Got college basketball for you Tuesday, the 6th annual State Farm Champions Classic from Madison Square Garden. At 7, it's Kentucky and Michigan State. And at 9:30, it's Duke and Kansas. So a great doubleheader. College basketball underway. NBA now in full swing. College football nearing the end of the regular season. The Golden Boot at stake tonight in this rivalry between LSU and Arkansas. The Razorbacks have won the last 2 meetings. Allen throwing here, and it's broken up, incomplete. Duke Riley made the play. Morgan the intended receiver, and it's 4th down and 6.
Drew Morgan trying to be on the receiving end there. He was open for a second. Riley just closed so quick. Austin Allen just a little bit late. That's what this LSU defense does to you. You have to be perfect in the passing game because of their speed and their ability to recover.
Colby Baker to kick it deep. And this is a good punt. White immediately signals, and the fair catch made around the 15-yard line. Early 4th quarter, LSU leading by 18. Cam coverage of tonight's game streaming live and watch ESPN, brought to you by Microsoft Cloud. Big first half interception thrown by Austin Allen that led to a touchdown, and then Danny Etling throwing a bomb to Malachi Dupree that led to another touchdown. Leonard Fournette with 3 rushing scores on the day. Darius Geis also scored on the ground, and it's 28-10 LSU.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the 5th game in Leonard Fournette's career in which he's had 3 touchdowns rushing. Pretty remarkable.
Darius Geis here, and he's got a first down, picking up 12. Let's check in with Adnan.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. I want to update you on what's happening over on ABC. Big Ten matchup, Michigan and Iowa. CJ Beathard to Akram Wadley. They go for 2, failed in that respect, but currently a 2-point game at the half. Wolverines 9-0 coming in, Dave.
And other than Wisconsin, Michigan has not been in a close game. So let's see how they handle that in the second half on the road at Kinnick. Geis over 100 yards rushing on the day on just 12 attempts. And only 2 carries against Alabama. Big hole for Geis here. He steps over a defender and dragged down. Otherwise, it's a touchdown. A gain of about 20. Here's Tom.
Well, as of right now, with 14 minutes to go, they're going to shut down Leonard Fournette here for the rest of the game. For LSU, let Geis take it the rest of the way. 28 Williams, the backup. Now, he's a thumper. He'll be the guy that will come in and get him those short yardage situations, but 7 on the bench.
You know you're good when the opposing team's fans are asking for a selfie.
In the middle of a game.
In the middle of a game.
Not a fan of that, guys. Got to be honest.
I don't like it either, but it's respect for a young man that's been absolutely incredible tonight and for a majority of his career in Baton Rouge.
And Josh Butte, the right guard, is injured. The left guard, Will Clapp, was hurt earlier for LSU.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hampton by Hilton. Book at Hampton.com for a guaranteed discount. And in part by the 2017 Kia Sorrento. Learn more at Kia.com.
So it appears Leonard Fournette is done for the day. Tom reported, and also we saw Fournette signing autographs and taking pictures with the fans. LSU up 28-10, and the Tigers have the ball on their 46-yard line. Looking to improve to 6-3, 4-2, and 4-1 under interim head coach Ed Orgeron. If they hold on, he'd have as many wins as an interim coach at LSU and USC as he had as the full-time head coach at Ole Miss. He was 10-25 there. Play action pass here. Etling rolling out, throws to the sideline. It's a catch and a first down for Traven Durrell. Guys, I know that Tiger fans are living week to week with how Ed Orgeron and LSU is doing, but I'm not so sure that the administration is. Wouldn't it be an upset if he gets the job? Not because it's Ed Orgeron, but because it's a job that's in demand for major guys who are currently head coaches at very successful programs. As Etling hands it off to Geis, and he is inside the 30-yard line.
Even if he wins out, I still think it would be a surprise if he had the interim tag removed. I know he's remarkably popular with his players, with the fans. People love Ed Orgeron, self-included. He's great from a motivational standpoint, and that's what you're in when you're an interim coach. Did a great job at SC, has done a great job here to this point. But as far as building a program, building his own program, there are legitimate question marks. And with some of the big names that would want this job if given the opportunity, I think it'd be very surprising if, in fact, he was the head coach beyond this year.
I think it's really slim. If there is a chance at all. Tom, are you on board with that?
I am, and listen, it's more about other factors than it is about Ed Orgeron. Right. I think there's tremendous pressure to bring in some candidates that have a distinct, successful offensive background. I also believe that it can be dangerous at times to make a comfort hire, the popular hire that in the moment everybody's excited about. And if you do your homework as an administration, as a board of trustees, or you go out and you hire a search firm, you're not only going to research the other candidates, but you're going to dig into the background and research your current interim coach as well. And so there's a lot to unfold here that I think will take place here as we go over the next 6 weeks.
This is one of the best jobs in college football.
I think it's a top 5 job.
Easily, Tom. With the talent that you have in your state, no other Power 5 school in the state of Louisiana, the passion, the fan base, the money.
Geis gets the first down. Spun forward to the 13-yard line.
I think there are 3 coaches maybe right now at their current institution that wouldn't be interested in the job, and everybody else would look at the job as one that is better than the one they currently have.
I think I could name those 3: Saban, Meyer, Peterson. Those are 3 guys that are staying at their schools. 4 maybe Harbaugh. Okay, but other than that, I think your point is it's a desirable job for just about anybody. And if you're LSU, you know you can get anybody or almost anybody. So even if Ed Orgeron would have beaten Alabama, they run the table. it would have been a shocker if he would have gotten the job. That's how I view it, as Geis is down to the 9.
From an interim standpoint, too, guys, let's consider, rarely are there coaching changes within a program that has had such sustained success that when the change takes place, whoever gets the job isn't taking over a rebuilding situation. We're not talking about a bare cupboard here. And Ed Orgeron's had the opportunity as an interim head coach at 2 places now where you've had really, really good players, so that the end of the run during that season looks really good for the interim guy.
The pitch to Geis on 2nd and 6. And he is close to a first down. Guys, I think the bottom line, though, is if you're LSU, you didn't need to be here. They were going to fire Les Miles last year, and they didn't. They caved to pressure from the media and fans and didn't. So this almost becomes a wasted season. It's as if you were looking for a reason to fire Les Miles. It happened early in the year. You go with Ed Orgeron, a guy that you're, again, not likely to hire as the full-time guy.
And I think the administration still has questions to answer. Joe Oliva, the athletic director, I think his handling of the Les Miles situation at season's end last year was very disappointing. And he has yet to answer some of the questions that I know LSU fans have for him. And I hope someday in the very near future, he'll address some of the things that went on behind the scenes and coming to the conclusion that he came to retain Les Miles last year and then dismiss Les Miles 4 games into this season.
Second and goal as LSU's just running the ball, taking time off the clock here. And Etling gets to about the 3-yard line. Agim on the stop. And talking with Ed Orgeron, look, he handled it. He wasn't going to say anything about how much communication he's had with administration about whether he's going to get the head coach or not. He just is very grateful as somebody who is a Louisiana native. He told us that, look, this is just great that I have this moment, whenever it ends or if it ends, to coach LSU.
He's listed off about 20 players he idolized as a young child growing up in South Louisiana.
3rd and goal, Geis won't get in. 4th down coming up. See if LSU just goes for it here. And Ed Orgeron is one of the top assistant coaches in college football. He's been for many years. And, you know, maybe the Ole Miss situation, it's unfair to look at that and determine whether he can be a full-time head coach again based on that. They didn't have great players. They were 10 and 25. And he did a good job at USC and has done a good job here. But he also has very good players here and very good players at SC.
Well, and you have the resources to maintain those players here. And within the state, his roots, that does play into his favor.
Tell you what, if he doesn't get the head job here, he will be considered somewhere else for an open head coaching position.
Kick off your Week 10 NFL Sunday on ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern, NFL Insider Sunday edition. Then it's Sunday NFL Countdown at 11. On Monday Night Football, Odell Beckham, who starred at LSU, and the New York Giants, who are playing good football right now, winners of 3 in a row, taking on the Bengals on Monday night. Coverage starting with Monday Night Countdown at 6. Special teams coach B.D. Pavito living it up with the players as they're rolling here in Fayetteville 31-10 as we welcome you back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton by Hilton. Midway through the 4th quarter, and LSU with an impressive bounce back after the emotional defeat at home to Alabama last week. Fielded at the 12. Here's Deion Stewart. Wrestled to the ground at the 27. Adnan, what do you got for us, pal?
Well, Dave, just want to update you on what's happening in the Pac-12. This would be USC and Washington, and Jake Browning to John Ross. For Browning, 70-yard touchdown pass, longest of the season for him. Ross, 15 touchdown catches this season, leading the Pac-12. USC, though, has the lead, up by 4 through 3. And Wake Forest and Louisville, Cardinals up by 4. That's Brandon Radcliffe, his first 3 touchdown game of his career. They're now leading 23-12, Dave.
And here it's 31-10. LSU in front as Austin Allen looks to pass and dumps it off on the screen. Williams past the 40-yard line into LSU territory. Still going. Didn't go out of the bounds until now inside the 20.
I mean, that's a heck of a play. You're going with a little screen. Perfectly executed. A couple of lead blockers out in front. Look at those big boys run. Stiff arm. That's a heck of a play right there.
47-yard pass play. Can they score quickly? Allen throws an interception. Picked off by Dwayne Thomas, who read the route better than the receiver. Well, you get a big play, and then you give it right back to the defense. Thomas with the pick. Allen throwing his second interception of the night.
Just a great break on the football. Right after a big play. It's been the story of the night. Arkansas just can't put it all together. Thomas making the great play, getting 2 feet down.
A lot to talk about on SportsCenter at night with Lisa Kearney and John Anderson. Full day of college football. UFC 205 updates. They'll get you ready for NFL Sunday as well. Don't forget Cal Washington State up next here on ESPN. Loss of 1 for LSU running the football. Geis taken down for a setback. All right, somebody's moving up. And there may be 2 of these teams moving up depending on what happens with Washington and USC. Washington's best win is at Utah. Ohio State's best win in overtime at Wisconsin. They still have Michigan and Columbus. Louisville beat Florida State, lost to Clemson. They have to go to Houston. You mentioned you think Ohio State is in the best position to move up. Is there another team off the radar that isn't on that picture?
I think Oklahoma. They have a couple losses, obviously. And then Wisconsin, who also has a couple losses, but will have a chance to play against Ohio State or Michigan in the Big Ten Championship possibly.
Darius Geis, we talked about the speed of Fournette. This guy's no slouch. Geis takes it to the house. Touchdown LSU, 94 yards. Darius Geis, who had 2 carries last week, has rushed for 252 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight. And the boot is going back to Baton Rouge.
They said he deserved more carries. I think he's made the most of them tonight. 21 carries, 250 plus yards.
You and I went down on the field before, in part because we wanted to see just some of these guys in their silks, Leonard Fournette in particular, and we both walked by Darius Geis and said, boy, that's a good-looking kid, too.
That's the understatement of the day. I mean, there wasn't even much of a hole there. He created it on his own, then put on the burners. Come on, he's running away from an SEC defense. There he is, Leonard Fournette. He's the happiest guy in the stadium right now.
And that's 358 rushing yards allowed by Arkansas. Again, the numbers for Geis, but think about Arkansas over the last 3 games. They gave up 543 yards on the ground to Auburn. Then they give up 12 to Florida. And tonight they've given up 350 plus to LSU.
And Jekyll and Hyde for this defense. That's so many moments in which they look fantastic. And then they just have a performance like tonight or against Auburn in which you don't even recognize the players on the field. Not playing up to their potential at all tonight, but you got to give a lot of credit to LSU, who's thoroughly controlled the line of scrimmage.
Here's Stewart waiting for it on the 7 for the Razorbacks. He gets tattooed at the 22. Here's Adnan.
Thank you very much, Dave. An update once again from the Pac-12. It's USC and Washington, number 20 versus number 4, and Darnold here to Daniel Emator Bebe, 24-13. The Trojans have the lead early in the fourth. Dave, back to you.
And man, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I mean, you touched on a pair of two-loss teams that you think are not out of the discussion. Clearly, the playoff committee doesn't think Wisconsin's out of it. The Badgers are 7th. Remember, they beat LSU.
Yeah.
Went to overtime with Ohio State, lost a tough game in Ann Arbor. Oklahoma lost to Houston and Ohio State. Those are their defeats. As Hatcher is past the 35, has the first down.
It's going to get very interesting to see where Clemson goes. I think that's the biggest storyline heading into the rankings release on Tuesday. How far will they fall? That loss to Pitt really looks bad when you compare that loss with some of the other losses we've seen in college football.
Almost another interception thrown by Allen as Dante Jackson broke on the ball.
Well, on top of that, Greg, when you consider, and going back to the first quarter when we had the discussion, where they dropped this LSU team after losing 10 points to Alabama at home, and then coming out here and absolutely dismantling this Arkansas football team. So how they treat Clemson in relationship to how they've treated LSU and how they view these teams is going to be very interesting to see them answer that question.
Tom, I don't understand how they could possibly drop them below Louisville.
I don't either. I don't think they can, at least not right now.
Not at this point. So you have to think their spot in the top 5 ahead of Louisville could very much be intact.
Screen pass caught at the 30-yard line by Whaley. Past the 45, has the first down. Guys, but if you look at the 4 best teams right now, or even the 5 best teams, how can you say Clemson is playing better than Louisville right now? They beat Louisville, but that was a month and a half ago. I mean, Louisville has destroyed teams. Clemson barely beat NC State. I know they pounded Syracuse, but they barely beat NC State. They didn't play well in some other games.
What about Louisville's
home to Pitt?
But Louisville, what about their game against Virginia, in which it took a throw in the final 15 seconds to secure the victory, or their game against Duke on a Friday night when they won 24-10, but that game felt closer than the score might indicate? Every team, for the most part, has blemishes. I do think that you look, though, at Louisville's resume versus Clemson's resume. Not only did Clemson win head-to-head, which I would hope would matter to the committee, but they've also beaten Auburn, who is a very high-quality football team. Louisville tonight, it appears as though they're going to hang on to win against Wake Forest, but that's only their second win this year against a team with an above 500 record. Their other was against Florida State.
Frank Herron injured for LSU, but he's up now. So, guys, look, if Washington loses, does Clemson slide out of the top 4 then? Because you guys are saying that they should be ahead of Louisville. I think Louisville then should be number 4, and Clemson should be 5th. Do you guys keep Clemson in the top 4 if Washington ends up losing this game?
I would. I understand that every game has to matter, but the beauty of our current system, as opposed to the BCS, is that you can look at the entire body of work and you're not penalized that much based on when you lose. You can lose in week 1, that's valued and weighted equally to when you lose, say, in week 10 or 11.
Allen throwing a deep ball here, and it's incomplete. And Tom, I'm not sure if you want to jump in here, but before you do, just an update. Iowa is now leading Michigan. There's a ways to go in that game, but it's 11-10 Iowa. Obviously, that would shake things up even more.
Which, if something were to happen with that game, guys, makes this whole discussion ridiculous, because that's what we've got to consider in all of this. Is there's still a lot of football to be played. It doesn't matter how things look on paper. And I think the committee does pay close attention to that. They're not worried about whether your game was close with somebody it should not have been. I think they're digging deeper. It's not a surface level evaluation with these teams.
Catch made by Reed, and he has a first down.
What becomes really fascinating in the Big Ten is if Michigan were to fall to Iowa tonight, then Ohio State would not control their own destiny. They could beat Michigan and not make it to the Big Ten championship, because Penn State has 1 loss in the Big Ten right now, they would, in fact, control their own destiny.
The bottom line, I think, is what you guys are saying as Allen goes to the end zone and Hatcher incomplete. There's a flag. Is that if Michigan loses, and look, there's a ways to go, a two-loss team is at least one two-loss team is in the conversation, and that maybe we will see a two-loss team in the college football playoff, because you'd have Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, Louisville, all with one loss, Washington with one
Pass
loss.
interference. Number 18 of the defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
A penalty on Tre'Davious White. Let's see here if Hatcher caught the ball. They ruled that it was incomplete.
Remember, the ball can hit the ground, but was it secured by Hatcher in the process of doing so?
And I think the problem here, Greg, is that because you can't see the ball and the ruling on the field was incomplete, it won't get overturned by replay.
Yeah, remember, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn. I think the ball's moving anyway, so that's an incompletion.
Yeah, I don't think he had control. There's still 10 minutes to go, by the way, in Iowa City in the third quarter. It's 11-10, so there's plenty of time left. Allen throws over the middle, and Sprinkle has it at the 12-yard line.
Is the college football playoff great or what? It's the conversation. The fact that the playoff, even though it's 4 teams, the playoff started 11 weeks ago. You look at Oklahoma, lost 2 games in the first 3 weeks, won every game since. They're still on the outside looking in, but could very easily get back into the conversation as the season goes on.
Allen throws it away, going to bring up 3rd and 4. And guys, you know what? If we had 8 teams, we wouldn't be having as much fun right now. This conversation wouldn't mean anything because Clemson lost 1, but they're not going to drop past 8. The fact that it's 4, I think if you go to 8, you take away a little bit from the regular season.
Protect the regular season. And that's what they've done with the 4-team playoff. It still matters. You know a Power 5 champion is going to be on the outside looking in, Tom. You have to keep it at 4.
Well, and the thing that I love about this whole discussion is what if the things that needed to unfold down the stretch here would allow for a 2-loss Big 12 champion to get in regardless of whether they have a championship game or not. Remember, just a few short weeks ago, they were done, out of it.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens with some other games, and now all of a sudden, how much weight would that carry if it came down to a decision in that room late in the season?
Well, and Tom, there's 1-loss teams like West Virginia that are outside the top 10.
Right.
You know, they play Oklahoma next week. So another penalty marker down. I mean, it looked, and I don't know how you guys, I thought seriously it was going to be, it would come down to one spot.
Number 4 did not get set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Guys, I thought the way things are going, it was coming down to one spot. It was going to be Alabama, Clemson, Michigan, or Ohio State, or maybe both, and Washington. It was going to be between those 5 teams. But with the losses tonight, I think 12 or 15 teams are going to be in the conversation.
And a lot of us looked at Clemson and said, they're probably the safest bet to get into the college football playoff. They play Pitt at home. They play South Carolina at home. They go on the road to Wake Forest, but they might have had the easiest road and probably the least likely to lose one down the stretch.
Sprinkle dives and gets into the end zone for the Arkansas touchdown. 12th career touchdown. That is number 1 all time by Arkansas tight ends.
See if that ball crosses the plane. It looks like that left elbow is down about a half-yard shy of the end zone.
Yeah, he's short.
Definitely short right there. Very clear that he's short. The ball does not break the plane. They should review this, and we're looking at.
Ruling on the previous play is a touchdown. This play is now under video review.
Take a look at this, and like we said, after looking at it at a couple of different angles, this is probably going to be brought up short.
I think Texas A&M too is back in the conversation after today, right?
It's tough to say, you know, because the committee also values injuries and takes those things into account. Trevor Knight hurt last week at Mississippi State, out for the regular season, possibility of getting back for the bowl game. But they have a tough road here too. They still have to play against the Bengal Tigers.
Well, how big was Auburn's loss today, fellas?
Sure, now they got 3 losses, Luke's.
After video review, there's runners short of the goal line. The ball will be placed at the half-yard line where it'll be second down.
And if Washington loses this game today, are they not out of it? Because if Washington State continues to win and then they beat them in the Apple Cup and then win the Pac-12 championship, I mean, are your heads spinning yet?
My mind is just blown. I mean, completely blown. We can do what if, all these hypotheticals. It's crazy to follow, but it's the sport we love so much, and it's going to be a crazy few weeks, and I'm looking forward to Tuesday when the rankings are unveiled.
Whaley fumbles the ball. Beckwith recovers in the end zone for a touchback. It's been that kind of a night for the Hogs.
The play sums it up. Have what you think is a touchdown to sprinkle. Review, brought up short, fumble. On the way in to the end zone. He just didn't collapse around the football as he tried to take it from Austin Allen. Just so many mistakes by Arkansas tonight. Offensively, yeah, it's going to look a little better than it probably was. 291 yards of offense, but that number was around 150 5 or 6 minutes ago. This Arkansas team just has to learn how to be more consistent. When they're playing well, they can play with anybody, but when they're playing poorly, it can get ugly very quick.
You go 59-3 loss to Auburn, followed by 31-10 win to Florida, followed by 38-10 loss to LSU. I was really surprised tonight that Arkansas played as poorly as they did.
Especially knowing how LSU played last week. Left it all on the field, so close. 3.5 quarters, 0-0 ball game. Thought they might come out with a little bit of a hangover. That certainly wasn't the case. Scored on the first possession and have poured it on since. But Arkansas, still a lot to play for. A lot of opportunities on their schedule. Can still obviously get to 8 wins in the regular season, which is an outstanding accomplishment.
Nick Brosette picks up the first down. The 4th-string running back for LSU. All right, let's get you caught up on some scores around the country and show you the Capital One College Football Playoff Rankings Top 10. So Alabama won, Clemson lost, Michigan is down, Washington is down, Ohio State has trounced its last 2 opponents. Louisville is up big now on Wake after trailing. Wisconsin is rolling. A&M is leading, but it's not over yet. Auburn lost today. Penn State won today. Again, the Nittany Lions were the team that everybody looked at when 2 weeks ago, the initial rankings, they were number 12 and said, I don't believe that. It was a fluke win over Ohio State. But that team is rolling right now. That was a really good win against Indiana today. You pointed out if Michigan were to lose, how that really confuses the Big Ten East picture.
I think probably for the first time in their lives, Ohio State fans are actively rooting for the Michigan Wolverines. They refer to them ever lovingly, of course, as the team up north. They need Michigan to win tonight because then Ohio State does in fact control their own destiny.
Ohio State will never root for Michigan, and our friend Brian Greasy will never root for Ohio, as he would call it. Nick Brosette, tackle for a loss. The boot is being moved to the LSU sideline. Well, Arkansas is trying to win the Golden Boot for the 3rd straight year, which would be the first time since the 1920s. But it's going back to Baton Rouge. And Arkansas is going to fall to 6-4, 2-4 in the SEC. Ed Orgeron is going to improve to 4-1 as the interim coach. They'll be 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the SEC.
Big game next week, obviously. for the SEC East as the Florida Gators come to Baton Rouge to play against an LSU team that's got to be feeling great after this performance.
And that likely will be the final play. Well, time will tell whether Ed Orgeron is the head coach or not. Again, we think that very unlikely to happen. But bottom line, as an interim coach, he's done a remarkable job. To get this team focused to win 3 in a row, you put everything into the Alabama game, you go toe-to-toe for 3.5 quarters, lose, and then you bounce back to beat Arkansas and win the boot. Go get it, kids. Well done. Final score from Fayetteville, 38-10. LSU throttles Arkansas. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganbill, our entire crew, I'm Dave Pasch. College football scoreboard coming up. Washington State, Cal. That is a big game for Washington State. So long for now.